Hi, everybody. Did you know that in 2018, 41% of Americans suffering from mental illness received the help they needed, professional help? That's around 134 million people, more than the current population of Mexico. That's not good news. I don't know what is. That's what I want to talk about today, the positive side of mental illness, the sunny side, you could say it. How they're not all just delusions and paranoia. First, I want to talk about the bipolar disorder, how they actually have an advantage over everyone else, and how there's more to people with schizophrenia than you could actually imagine, and that it's far better to go off personal experience with mental illness than what you see on the news, because frankly, you won't know the full context of what someone's going through unless you talk to them. But to start off, let's go back to bipolar. The book A First-Rate Madness by Dr. Nasir Ghammi, based out of Boston, one of the world's leading specialists on bipolar disorder, analyzed some of history's greatest leaders, Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., and found that their depression and their mania, not necessarily mania in every case, but they sort of enhanced their realism and sparked this creativity that formed this resilience that he theorized made them some of the best crisis leaders of our time. At sort of bending their negative aspects to their own will for their own gain. Schizophrenics, it's easy to chalk them up, just a guy in a straitjacket in a rubber room. But, reality speaking, two psychologists, Dr. Shelley Carson of Harvard, specialist in psychopathology, study of mental disorders, and Dr. Scott Kaufman, at the forefront of the self-actualization movement, both conducted studies and found there was a correlation between high levels of IQ and decreased latent inhibition. That means it's kind of what we base our intuition on. I mean, you see something, you kind of store it, but you don't really realize its importance until later, until another stimulus comes along, like, oh shit, I needed that. They theorize that if a schizophrenic could sort through all the incoming information that is, frankly, they're being bombarded with on a daily basis, just nonstop, they could just feel through all of it and have some of the greatest creative potential the world's ever seen, because they tested people with schizophrenia and found out that they don't have a lot of executive functioning, general motor skills, things we take for granted as normal people, and found that they have a greater sense of believing in their hunches to further themselves in their own lives. Now, that seems a little unbelievable to me, but what is believable are statistics, like the case studies that have been conducted all over the world to inform people or see what they know about mental illness. From 2009 to 2014, a Swedish government-funded case study found that over 5 regions of Sweden, people wanted a mental health literacy program. Those who are in favor from it, that went up from 20% to around 40%. And those with the belief, this is nationally speaking, of the fear of mental illness, the probability or how they would predict that violence would happen in the future, that went down actually from 14 to 9%. And in 2018, a group of 6 psychologists in China conducted a study of a sample population there and evaluated them on their knowledge and attitudes toward mental illness in population. They found that 59.7% of that sample acquired their knowledge and understanding of mental illness just from mass media, portrayals they see in movies and TVs and stuff. And the rest of them based what they knew on just interacting with mental illness. Now, there was no positive, there was no negative, there was just, hey, they exist. Not much we can do about it. But the negative feedback from it actually was based more in urban areas. They couldn't really exactly find out the reason behind that, but they believe that it is due to how they are accepting of their own and wary of anyone outside their community. Oh, I meant rural areas. That's on me. In conclusion, I just want to let you know about that there are positive aspects to all that people are going through, all those diagnoses and all that they suffer on a daily basis. That their bipolar people are actually could be better than you in some cases, and schizophrenia, people with schizophrenia could be smarter than you, and that over time people are willing to open up more about mental illness, new things, new ideas in general. If you've, I hope today you've learned something from what I've said, but the one thing I hope you do take away, like really you let sink in, is that just keep an open mind. Because honestly, everyone you meet is fighting some battle you know nothing about. It's easier just to stay kind always. Thank you.